So yesterday after the video, I went to the car tire place and I kid you not, right as I pulled up to it, they closed. So the car saga still continues. I am going to try to go like this weekend or something and see if I can get my tires fixed. And then meanwhile, I'm like crossing my fingers and hoping for the best. So anyways, hi. This is your first time seeing me. My name is Janae, and I am a hypnotherapist, and I love to nerd out on how your mind works. I mostly work with women, specifically in the area of women's empowerment, to help them get reconnected with their inner power and to use really powerful tools, such as hypnosis, to get what they want out of life. If you're watching me on YouTube, feel free to go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Ooh, and the bell so that you can be notified whenever new videos come on. Because let's be honest, Facebook is notoriously not so great at letting people know when you're live. So it just is what it is. And if you're not watching me on YouTube and you really jive with this video, then feel free to like hop on over to YouTube after the video is over and you can check out quite a few videos there just of like topics similar to this and stuff like that. Okay, cool. So today we're going to be talking about how to really know your worth. And I really like worth just as a fundamental topic because I feel like we allow our worth to be defined as so many different things. And for example, there are like your performance at your job, you can allow to define your worth. If you're in school, the grades you get, even like your friends' opinions of you or other people's opinions of you, the actions you've taken, all of these things, right? And really, when you think about worth, it's almost a contest, like in the stereotypical sense of like, how well can you fit this box? So if we're talking about it in the work setting, it's like, oh, okay, your performance, you did all these things, da, 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 and like some value is given based on that. And so it's really almost a question of like, what is it that you value? Because whatever it is that you value is what you will allow to determine your worth more than anything else. So for example, if you are undervaluing yourself, or if you are valuing yourself in a way that's not really from a place that is with your best interest in mind, that can lead to things such as not having healthy boundaries, being in like toxic relationships, or having repeat patterns occur from those things. And we just kind of like accept it and like keep going back and all of those things. It can also be a lack of confidence because whenever we are questioning whether or not we are enough, whether or not we have the value that we wish to portray outwards, it can look like doubt. It can look like self-doubt. It can look like sabotage. It can look like questioning whether or not what you have and what you are doing is like by accident, by chance, and all of that. I am personally a believer that your worth is not dependent on any of those things. I don't believe that worth is dependent on your actions. And I don't think that any other outside value should impact what you think about yourself. But like, let's face it, it's not uncommon for us to allow the opinions of other people to be one of the loudest when it comes to the worth of what we're doing. So I think a lot of worth, it's like, it really takes inner work to make it actually work for you. Because I know for me, I never even thought about, hey, I need to like adjust the way that I value myself until I started to realize that the tendencies that is demonstrated were a lot of like people pleasing tendencies. It's like, oh, I want everyone to feel comfortable. I want everyone to feel at home and all of those things. And I'm not saying that that is innately a bad thing, but sometimes it can be to the point of actually like giving up on something I wanted to do, or it can almost be like this self-sacrificing pattern that I would go down, which is not cool. So hold on, I'm gonna take a sip of my matcha. Also, isn't this glass like the coolest? This is like passed down from my mom, like ancient China. No, Mom, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. Mm. But what I believe is that you are worthy of your dreams, your aspirations. And we just have to free ourselves from the mess that we were sold, the story that we were sold about what your value looks like. So when it comes to actually trying to understand, do you really know your worth? I would first say, when are the times when you have felt the most validated? And when you did, was that coming from someone else or was that coming from yourself? And the reason why I feel like it coming from someone else can be so questionable or even like not the best thing overall is because what if that opinion changed? What if you're not doing something that is appeasing them in that specific moment? Your value should not be dependent on anything else. Like I just like fundamentally believe that. So the way that you can know it to me is it's like I base my value is like one, not independent, not dependent on anyone. And it is just you have your full worth at all times. It's really just a matter of whether or not you can see it from where you're at. And there's so many lenses. And I almost think of this as like if you were going outside and you had like shades on, like maybe you had different color shades, like, oh, you had a red shade or, whatever color your glasses would be. And to me, when we get to discover our true worth and knowing that our actions, what we do, how we, like what role we play in the world, don't even dictate your worth whatsoever. It's literally like us just like peeling it back because everything will change. Your how empowered you are and what you do will shift. Your ability to show up authentically as you without that fear of being judged will shift because you have now learned, you've done the inner work to know that you are born with your full value. And it just gets layered on, right? Slowly, that it's like, hey, you aren't getting the best grades in school as a child, right? Oh, bad girl, bad boy. Hey, you're not behaving this way. All these little things that are done from a very young age that cause us to question our own value, to question our own worth. Or when we see, like, oh man, this person's getting this, reward or thing that I felt I should be getting. And it's all from this point of we are like literally programmed to almost seek external validation. Societally, it works really great when you have a lot of people who are like, hey, they're going to try and do this because that means that you're going to fit in the mold. But I think that every single person is unique and that you are meant to like fly your colors as bright as you want to because your worth is not dependent on any of that. And so that's what I think. If you have any questions, let me know. I will check the chat. And if not, like, thanks for joining me here. I'm here every Monday and Wednesday around 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. If all goes well and there's not traffic on the way home. So yes, all that to say, you are worthy and you are enough. And if you are struggling with actually coming to grips with that, and if you've been feeling that like itch to kind of like break out of the mold that you've been in, but you've been like afraid of judgment from others, you've been afraid of all these things that could potentially go wrong, feel free to hop on over to the free community I have because this is something that it's actually not as challenging to work through as what it might initially seem. And I don't believe in working through these things from a behavioral standpoint because it's really just not a good place in the change order for changes to be made. So it's not a fit till you make it. It's not just like, hey, stand up and say like power woman stance and say that I'm enough. Like that, it's nothing like that. It's really just getting to the root of where that conditioning comes from in your mind and making that shift. So you can find out more there. Otherwise, I'm going to hop off and I will see you here next week. All right, bye.